Hi there and welcome to Sal's Hoop Heads. Great to have your company as always. Simon and Garfunkel, here they are.
Oh, like a bridge over basketball waters, Justin.
Not troubled, a little turbulent.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know, I miss you, man.
Oh, hello.
Nothing against Brooke, but you know.
Yeah,
we just become best friends.
Were you a little
Brothers
bit?
are back.
Were you a little bit watership down?
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Can we get on with the show, by the way? You two.
Yeah, we're good.
Let's go.
Got places to be, Justin.
Round 15 results, Sal's NBL. Here we go. Let's quickly have a look. Airs over the Giants. Rams and the Bulls, quality win for the Rams. We mentioned the Airs. Hawks take down the Jets. Jordan Nartai, more on that in a moment, with a big win. And of course, the Saints with a 41-point last quarter take down the Aucklanders. Let's start with the Airs and the Giants. The Giants had to win to keep everything rolling along. Talk about the Hawks in a moment. Airs, great crowd, fantastic crowd for a Thursday night. Got the job done. Fit and healthy. It's probably what we expected for most of the season from the Airs.
It's unfortunate that they couldn't get Anthony Hilliard earlier and they couldn't get Armon Fletcher back quick enough. And that sort of scuppered their season. Shout out to Quinn Bailey as well.
Yes.
I think we won't give him a lot of time to talk about the Airs. But Quinn Bailey had a season. I was talking to Miles Pearce for most improved player. He wasn't on the shortlist, but he said his production, 6 minutes more, I think was what Miles said, but almost doubled everything it felt like in effort and in the statistics as well.
Yeah, big effort, and that's what you need to be a quality team. Like you said, had they had that team a little earlier, they would have been better. Giants just in trouble, no Maker, no Woodson.
Yep.
Makes it tough for that squad to get a victory.
Certainly did. Hawks and Jets. Jets had the chance to spoil the party. The Hawks weren't having any of that. Jordan Nartai was absolutely having none of it.
Jordan Nartai, I feel like this Hawks team, he should have averaged 35 a game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean for the season? Like, Jordan, you can do this. This is you. This is what we see at Tall Blacks international level. Just unconscionable shooting. He is even keel. He is cool as a cucumber.
Did he send a massive message to Coach Pero Cameron?
I think that could be part of it. You know, certainly when you see a player playing at that level, especially for a team that was down 10, had trouble at home all season long, but in the game they needed most, he came through. And the efficiency with which he did it. I mean, he took a couple of fair weather shots at the end there trying to get 50.
I don't blame him. I wanted 50.
Can we get one of them? Just one, Jordy.
Very quickly, the other story, Saints, massive last quarter. They are full of confidence. They're an offensive team. They're going to go up against a defensive team in the Bulls.
I was impressed by their ability to turn it around because they were down big at the start of that fourth quarter, double digits, and to turn that into a 41-point quarter with Kyle Adnam really putting the pressure on, Isaiah Musias finding that range from three. It was all transition for them, and that they showed a bit of a dent in the armor of the Tuatara in their transition.
Elijah Thomas finding his feet as well.
Looking good.
You said they're full of confidence, but for 3 quarters they're full of frustration, and they have been that way all season long. We talked to Troy McLean at quarter time, and he was frustrated with the referees. He's been frustrated all season long. I think if they can put a cap on that, I think if Elijah Thomas can not worry about the contact because he's come from Turkey, it's a different league, it's more physical. I think they're dangerous, but I think the Bulls are a team where they know that their physicality will frustrate that Saints
and they'll get
team.
under their skin.
Yeah.
Saints need to get away from the tech foul stuff, just move away from it.
Bulls have only beat one team in the top 4, and that was the Tuatara, and a 24-point come from behind victory.
Here we go, final standings, and I had the Airs making it at the start of the season. They are the best of the rest, but you look at that top 6, you look at that top 4 in particular, gee, they've been good.
12 wins apiece, I mean, at least, you know, that there's only 90 wins total in the competition, and you've got well over, you've got about 50 of them there, so it's been impressive how top-heavy it is, especially considering there's a lot of talent in the bottom half of the ladder.
I just feel as though the Manawatu Jets should not be frustrated with the fact that they came last, because it's not indicative of what their season was built like.
Here we go, final 6 schedule. This is what we're looking at. 2 games on Thursday. It's a big, big night for all the fans out there. 1 entry price, you get to see 4 teams in action. Tuatara play the lowest ranked winner in the semi. Nuggets play the highest ranked winner from the Thursday night. Then, of course, we head down to the grand final.
I can't wait. That doubleheader on a Thursday, it is whirlwind. Remember last season at Event Finder Stadium?
A lot happens.
What just happened? Game 2. You've got to make sense of it all. It's hard to digest. It's hard to sleep. We'll get ready for Friday's game.
Interestingly, a different path for both the Tuatara and the Nuggets. They were in the first night action this time last year.
swap it around, which turnabout's fair play. I mean, and the form has turned around as well. Last year, the Nuggets had to win that overtime game to secure that position at where they were. This year, they were 1-4 in a row, dropped the last one. But based on that form, maybe they're not going to be quite as good. They need to be struggling to come in.
Well, it's been a busy week, of course, with the To'ihi also tipping off round one. And what an opening round it was. Fantastic results, close margins. Ashton Prechtel, what were your thoughts first up?
Oh,
Damn!
Immense. A 2020 game is huge in 40 minutes of basketball. So congratulations to the Hoiho. They've reloaded, and it's just great to see them get a double win on the road.
What a combination!
And on the road, sorry.
What a combination of offensive power and you know the strength and the interior play that she provides. It's going to be a tough matchup all year, and that's because she's skilled as well, man. She's dribbling the ball full court, pulling up, and what I really like is what it's opened up for the rest of that squad.
Well, move Zoe Richards across to the forward.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and Zoe Richards, possibly the best game of her career, the best I've ever seen her play in that opener, especially. And if she's able to find a little bit more comfort at that spot position, I think it really opens up some things for the Hoiho, who are a fantastic quality team.
I know the Queens went down. Crystalline Carr, keep an eye on her. She was a lot of fun, just a dynamic point guard. McKenna Dale, welcome home. How good was her performance for the Phi?
8 threes, like that is just it makes the floor so much bigger if you've got a shooter like that. So that makes it even more dangerous for them. I just feel as though this is going to be a lot closer than we anticipated this season long. There's more quality imports. Everyone's better for the experience that played last season, and the Rapid League gives the bench units, they're still warm. So they're coming into that game still feeling good. They know the rims, they know the angles. They haven't just done layup drills and layup lines.
And you know, for the Pokai, possibly they ran out of juice a little bit because a lot of the players who played for the Pokai in the main game
rolled the dice.
They rolled the dice, and then they gave up 11 straight points to lose that game at the end. They were up 73-68 at the end of it. And so those players may be a little fatigue setting in. So going to be a lot of chess matches with the two formats of the game.
Across the 3 games in To'ihi, 16 players didn't take the court. That's not an uncommon thing. Those same 16 players averaged 11 and a half minutes each in Rapid League.
That's perfect. That's what you want. You want them to play as much basketball as possible, and I think the Rapid League is going to give them that opportunity. And you may just see the games in To'ihi raise up because there'll be injuries, and those bench units will be called on. They'll have to use that experience in the Rapid League, and it'll pay dividends later on in the main game.
Well, it's a new innovation, the Sky Broadband Rapid League, and round 1 delivered plenty of highlights, some rising young stars. Here's the best bits.
The start of the To'ihi season meant our first look at the brand new Sky Broadband Rapid League. Let's take a look at the action in a new segment we like to call the Rapid Rap of the Rapid League. In the first ever Rapid League game, the Tokomanawa Queen took down the Southern Hoiho, the 30-17 winner, no short thanks to 9 from Te Araroa Sopoaga. But the Hoiho bounced back to a big 33-20 Rapid League win over the Kahu. 12 from Tyler Mitchell and 9 from Gracie Roberts here getting the job done for the Southerners. And Ashley Reen had 14 for the Pokai as they took down the Phi.
Great opening start to the Sky Broadband Rapid League. Looking forward to that right across the GJ Gardner Homes To'ihi season. Season awards, Sal's NBL. The votes are in. Here we go. Best place to start, of course, is with the MVP. Any surprises here?
Not for me. I mean, the only surprise is that he didn't win Most Improved as well. I just feel as though he could have won everything except the youth player because Rob's in his 30s.
That's a lot of awards.
Look at all those awards for this
Look
man.
at them.
Look at this man who's decided to hang it up in the Australian League.
Damn you, Rob Lowe! Why are you calling time?
How many awards do we get there?
It's quite a few.
1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6 of them. Yeah, a solid 6 of them.
In all seriousness, I mean, outstanding season.
Oh, fantastic. I just love the way that he's led from the front. He's been a great leader. And as good as the offense has been, it's been the defense. That's why he was rewarded with the Defensive Player of the Year. You look at the advanced statistics, when you're looking at like value over replacement player or his box plus minus, he is so far above everyone in the 2 categories, offensively and defensively, as a combo. It's just been a really impressive season that he's put together, playing the best basketball of his career.
I mean, 2.2 blocks a game, 1.8 steals, like 4 stocks is what we call it. Like that's incredible for a guy of his age who doesn't need to do it at the intensity that he's been doing it all season long.
Yeah. 6 awards there for Rob Lowe. He would give them all back right now for one other thing,
A babysitter.
And that's...
Oh, no.
Well, championship.
A lucrative contract. You're right.
Let's go with the Youth Player of the Year. It was pretty hotly contested at the end, but this is a player we were talking about all season long.
The elevation of his play was so cool. He seems like a throwback player as well. The intensity with which he plays, the headiness he plays on the defensive end really is really great to see. He's in that mix for that Pero Cameron World Cup squad, just as that 10, 11, 12 guy, just because you need a guy who will push you.
And I think finding a way to fit into a very talented team but still be effective, and not just defensively, some young guys will just throw them into that end, but shooting a high percentage from three, has picked up all his stats across the board, so he really improved at the same time he was at that. And I just think it was his contribution to winning, what he had to do defensively game in, game out, really guarding some of the high quality wings out there, was really impressive while finding an added level to his offensive.
I think one thing we've spoken about with Walter Brown all season long, he's got great IQ for such a young player as well, hasn't he?
He's got a feel for the game that is hard to come by for players of that age. And then the next award is same thing as well, because the most improved player, Charlie Dalton, elevated into that starting spot. And like, just the only thing that I want Charlie to do is to shoot it. Like, he doesn't even look for his 3-point shot. He averages 19% from three. And that's just because he's having probably to shoot it at the end of the shot clock, or it's contested, or it isn't the shot that they want. And Aaron Young, I've seen him in games. They've been lucky enough to be calling at the venue where he's telling them, shoot it, shoot it. Because he just catches and moves it on.
And he's got that support from some much older players.
They're telling him to shoot it.
But I think even that has improved as the season has gone along.
It has,
Early in the year, he wouldn't even look at that as a season. He now shoots it, especially that corner when he's willing to get it up. I'm reminded of the start of the Nelson Giants game where he scored the first 7, including a triple. That just got him off on the right start.
It's his movement off the ball as well on that weak side, the cuts, the baseline operation,
He's averaged 4 times more points than he did last year. I think it's 4 times as many rebounds and like 3 times as many assists. And a much improved role, like responsibility on his shoulders, a lot more responsibility there that he's had to work with. And if he didn't play this well, they're not where they're at as a team.
And it may be a fair while before we see him back on these shores again. He heads off to college, and I dare say there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of teams keeping very close tabs on Charlie Dalton. What a fantastic rise, and it's not done yet.
What a duo on the wing for the next 10 years in New Zealand basketball with those young fellas.
Absolutely.
Let's go to the All-Star 5, and I really like the mix here. This is what the panel of 15 who voted have ended up with: 10 coaches and 5 independents. Jared Weeks, Jeremy Kendall, Tevin Brown, Todd Withers and Rob Lowe.
Yeah, look, I just, you can't argue with it. I had another name in there, but none of those guys don't deserve to be there, and that's the cool thing. Jeremy Kendall had an outstanding season, but for a team that didn't make the playoffs, I think he did everything that was asked of him. He tried to get everybody involved. He did get everybody involved. They just needed more around Jeremy Kendall to facilitate that, because he doesn't necessarily want to score the ball, but he's just like, okay, all right, I'll grab it by the scruff of the neck the game, and I'll fill it up.
I really love that it's only 5 guys. You have to be so fortunate and have such a good season to make that list. Rob Lowe obviously included there. Jared Weeks was just great from start to finish on both ends. Tevin Brown, to me, played some really quality basketball. But when you look at Jeremy Kendall, I talked earlier about the statistical value, advanced stats of Rob Lowe. Offensively, Jeremy Kendall was as efficient as a player can possibly be. To be at 35 and carry that load offensively, it was a difficult season for them as a team. But what he did was mightily impressive.
330-plus guys in that 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's the headiness that you need in a league like this. He was always in the MVP voting as well, top 3 all season long.
And we got to talk about Todd Withers as well. That huge start to the season for the Nuggets. They got off to, I believe it was 7-0. And then the way he's, as a two-way player, we talk about Rob Lowe. Todd Withers, very unlucky not to get Defensive Player of the Year. He's very good at that stop. And I think offensively his game is lifted to a new level with the way he was shooting with a higher consistency.
He's my hoops crush of the season. I think everyone knows that.
Todd Withers walks around the court like he's 84 years old until he needs to actually be engaged in the game. Like, he looks sore all the time because he plays so hard. I love that about him.
If you and I are doing what he's doing when we're 84, which isn't too far away, by the way, I'd be pretty happy.
I mean, I commentate like I'm 84 years old.
I have amnesia like I'm 84.
So the award winners, let's have a look all up, and that's the full list right there. Right now, time to catch up with our special guest this week on Sal's Hoopheads, and what a week it is for the Auckland Tuatara. The runners-up last season go in with the number 1 seed, and right now we've got Coach Aaron Young with us. Welcome, and first of all, congratulations on a wonderful regular season. Well done.
No, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a good season. Obviously, the number 1 spot doesn't mean anything, especially in the last couple of years. So we're just refocused and reset on going one better this year.
Well, while you thought we were here to talk about your semi-final this week, shall we give him the big news?
Some news? Yeah, we'll drop some news on
Well, go on, tell him.
Well, Aaron, congratulations. You have been awarded the Steve McKean Coach of the Year Award for the 2020 NBL.
Yeah, buddy.
There you go.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's about the amount of enthusiasm I thought was going to come through from Aaron. But it's a great testament to the hard work you've done with this team. As a coach, what do you think has been the biggest job that you've had to do with a team that was heavy with veteran talent, but also a lot of youth in it as well?
Yeah, it's on paper, it looks like a group that's easy to coach, and everyone's going to get along. But the challenge of making it click is something that I obviously spend a lot of time and focus in. Allowing everyone to have input. We've got great veterans and players that have had 300 games experience in the NBL. So, a big focus for me going into the season was allowing them to have voices and continuously just making sure that their leadership was always tapped into. So it's challenging because you got to spread the wealth and you got to get everyone involved. But at the same time, so it's good problems to have when you got great people like we do.
Aaron, I'm going to sound like a bouncer here, but how old are you? How old are you? Because you look like you've just a couple of years removed from school. And to put more to Casey's point, what's it easier to do, to coach cranky 30-somethings like Jared and Cam and Rob, or is it trying to get through to the brickies of the young bucks and tell them how it should be done in the right way of playing basketball?
Yeah, so I think my first couple of years gave me great experience coaching and developing and building good relationships with the younger players. And that those 2 years, I guess, shaped me into the year that I had this year with a lot more experienced group with everyone that you just mentioned. So it's just kind of been this perfect storm of, my first year didn't feel like a massive jump up because I was coaching all these younger players. And now it's gotten to a stage where, I'm coaching, higher level players that have played at great levels across different leagues and internationally. But I think, you speak about my age, but I've actually been involved for close to 10 years in different teams, and the Breakers experience that I first had as an analyst really served me well for this position that I'm in now, because you talk about Weeksy, you talk about Rob, Cam, Rubes, these guys, I had relationship with them early in my coaching journey, and now it's a 10-year relationship with a lot of these guys. So it's that's allowed me to have confidence coaching them.
I want to know as well, Coach Aaron Young, congratulations on the award, but the final 6, as you said, it doesn't matter if you're number 1 because it doesn't happen as we saw last year with the Taranaki Airs. What do you see, which team besides yourselves carrying the best confidence going into that final 6? We saw you lose to the Saints. You pulled the pin a little bit early in that game. You probably thought, oh, well, you know what? We don't need to really try and win this game.
Went down to the Hawks.
Went down to the Hawks as well. Do you have that confidence, that belief that, right, it's now the business time. We made the game last year. Let's get it done.
Yeah, it's definitely, we have that feeling within the group. It's been a weird kind of last couple of weeks, subconsciously is, human nature is we want to, play our best, but, it's tough, when you got things locked away and you're kind of going through do we get right for next week? But, I said it in the game, we've had a lot of single game rounds the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it's that fine balance between getting the most out of every game, and we got to be game fit because we got to win 2 games. And we put ourselves in a position where we only have to play 2 games instead of 3, but we still haven't had a lot of those opportunities. So we had to maximize every opportunity that we had. We would have liked to finish those last 2 games with wins, but I think, especially against those teams, now we're going to be even hungrier to make sure that we get back on track going into this weekend.
What's the preparation ahead of Friday night's semi-final?
Surely want to listen to the commentators.
Yeah, I'll have my little AirPod in one ear, and then I'll be in the stands. Now, definitely be at the games, just trying to soak in the environment. There's a level of desperation that I just want to be around to just get, back into that mix. And then from scouting purposes, it's always good to kind of try and pick up a few calls from the coaches and players. Regardless, based on what happens in that first game, if the Hawks get up, then we know who we're playing. So it might be a situation where we get, back to the but not back to the hotel because we'll be at home, but back to the house and start preparing for them and have obviously a bit of an understanding of what they're doing. And if obviously it goes to that second game, we'll be hanging tight and obviously following those two teams closely.
And Sells NBL Coach of the Year, thoroughly deserved. And we'll see what happens this week. We do wish you well for the future as well. You're headed to Australia for the gig with the Perth Wildcats. Congratulations, well done, mate.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Not sure that Aaron Young was he surprised? He was surprised.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
Very low key.
That's him. That's Aaron Young. That's Aaron Young in every interaction you have with him. I love it. That's what makes him a great coach.
Yeah.
The real Coach of the Year award is the championship. That's who's done the real coaching. All that other stuff is just opinion.
And I know Mike Fitcher will appreciate this, but it didn't matter last year.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, it might have caused a little bit of extra motivation for a certain team out there.
I think we caught that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Who's got it?
Jeez, I'm glad you two have got a long memory. Massive week in basketball coming up. So much happening. Wednesday, Thursday, have a look at this. It all starts with the To'ihi Kahu up against the Poakai. Thursday, knockouts. Two of these teams are going home.
Rams, Hawks, and Bulls, Saints. Like, it is a clash of contrasting styles there. I feel as though it's going to be the Rams and the Bulls, though, because they're just a little bit more battle-hardened.
Friday, Saturday, semi-finals. Tuatara, lowest seeded winner from the Thursday night. Nuggets up against the highest seeded winner. And then, of course, we go into the Sunday action. And it's a big double at the Trusts Arena. The Kahu back in action against the Queens. And then, of course, Sells NBL Grand.
Championship Sunday, baby.
It's going to be huge. Can't wait. I mean, who is it going to be? Because there's no clear-cut favourite. It's just the way that the chips fall in a game.
I was looking at my predictions from last year.
Yeah?
Didn't get one single one right. Not one game of all the games that I get right.
Oh, I need to go back and look at that.
So
the Hawks and Saints, I mean, do they tip it up? It happened last year. Let's have a look at the feature game. They're both feature games, Rams and the Hawks.
Nothing but feature games. Look, the Rams have been playing really good basketball, and I think of late have found another level. Certainly true for the Hawks, who, with Ira Lee as a really strong interior presence, have been able to score on their home court the last few weeks, winning those 3 straight games to verse themselves in. Will they be able to do it? And there may not be a ton of atmosphere in this first one.
Yeah.
And the depth of the Rams is surely going to have some effect against that Hawks team, especially if Ethan Ruspatch isn't available.
It will be interesting to see how Corey Webster, how fit he is.
Yeah.
Because his creation, his shot-making ability, and the way that they've been playing, they lose concentration in patches. They lose leads. They lose focus, and it's not that they're just giving up or whatever it is. It's just that other teams have capitalised on miscues, poor communication on the floor. The Hawks have to pounce on that. If they don't, they're going to get beaten by the Rams.
Ethan Ruspatch is an unknown. Tevin Brown is in some form. Galen Smith is getting better and better the more time he spends in the middle of that Rams unit. And I really like the late season form of Taylor Britt.
He's been shooting the ball really well the last few weeks, finding a lot more confidence than we saw from him early in the season. And I do like that big combo of Smith and Webley, who's going to be able to throw themselves at Ira Lee and have a bit of size on him.
And they got Walter Brown.
And they've got Max Darling, who also has been in really good form as well.
Max Darling's another guy. More guys.
Rams Hawks.
More guys.
Now Rams Hawks.
Yeah. Rams Hawks.
You already said Rams.
I'm going to go Rams.
Case.
You know what? They were my preseason pick.
Yeah,
the Hawks. I'm back on the bus, baby.
You have to go.
Back on the bus.
Another 50-piece.
I think the Rams will win that. Bulls and Saints, the other knockout eliminator.
I can see this one getting really spicy. I can see this one having a little bit of squaring up between these two teams.
This may be the most brutal game of the season.
I think so.
Yep.
I think there's going to be somebody's going to be on 4 fouls in the second quarter, and I hope it's not Elijah Thomas. But the way he's been trending, unfortunately, something's going to happen in this game. I don't know what it'll be. I don't want to say it's going to be bad, but I think the Bulls will get under the skin of the Saints.
Casey, this is defense v offense.
Well, it is, and the Bulls a few weeks ago in this matchup without Harrison on that team really dominated the Saints, really took it to them, squeezed the life out of them completely. I think this team is better than the Saints, that is better than they were a few weeks ago. They seem to be more on the same page, playing at a higher level, and I'm interested to see how the Bulls bring Harrison back into it. He hasn't had much time. He's supposed to be available for a team that has struggled against the upper echelon talent. This is going to be really interesting how they pull it together in a short amount of time.
A winner?
I'm going Saints. I've got Bulls to win it all. What am I doing?
What are you doing?
I'm going to have to go Bulls.
If you're going to go Bulls, I'm going to Saints. I played for the Saints. We'll go against each other.
I'm conflicted.
No, I like the Bulls. I think they get up. What a week it is. So much basketball. Final 6. We love this time of the year in the Sal's NBL. Get out there, have some fun. Truss Arena. Hope we see you there.
I'll see you there.
Best team win.
I'll see you there, man.
I'll see all of you there.
Hoops, baby. Championship week.
When you walk out on the Truss Arena floor, the last few months don't mean a thing. All that matters is you're here.
Down since day one, never gave up. Been played in the mud. I came from the cut.
Some didn't make the trip, and just 6 remain.
Keep telling myself I'm
From here on out, it's hunt or be hunted. And with this year's frontrunners locked in to semifinal spots, it's up to these 4 teams to put it all on the line in the most exciting doubleheader of the Sal's NBL season.
Free hand, let's start the show.
Tonight, 2 teams continue their quest for NBL supremacy. For the losers, the dream comes to an end. Live from Truss Arena, Tamaki Mikado, Auckland, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Final 6.